Okay, and two balls and a mic.
Hi, how's it going? Welcome back again to here San Diego. Just wanted to get your thoughts. Over this offseason, obviously, you've had ex-players, some friends on other squads. Is there much talk about what it was like being part of an expansion team and maybe even what it was like working under Casey Stoney this year?
Um, Sorry, can you repeat the second part of that?
Yeah, just is there any talk around the league with some other players or just wondering what it was like to work under Casey Stoney?
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone who at least I've chatted with that's worked with Casey has had a really positive experience. I think what's unique to her is that she sees us as people and not just players. And I think coming into an expansion team is always, it has been in the past, a little bit chaotic. So I think she did a really good job of kind of like riding that wave, so to say, and kind of just, yeah, bringing that sense of calm to, a brand new environment where you're chucking in like new coaches, new staff, new players, everything is new. So I think she just did a really good job from the get-go of like setting our standards, and yeah, I think anyone, speaking personally about anyone I've spoken to, has had a really positive experience with Casey.
Steph Young.
Oh, thanks. Steph Young from Athletic. I just wanted to follow up on what you guys are saying about preseason and, expansion versus now you had time to settle in. Obviously, both of you had experience around the league, but like you said, depending on where the team is, it can be chaotic coming in. So just wondering what the feeling is this time for you personally in preseason, like, with the team feeling a little bit more grounded, maybe?
Yeah, I think you know, last year obviously it was like an expansion team, and everybody had come from different experiences, different team environments, and so I think the first year can be a bit of like kind of figuring out what the goals are on and off the field. And so I think kind of having a successful year under our belt and then building on that, I think everybody's come in now with a little bit more comfort within the group, within the environment, and the coaching staff as well. And just kind of like building on that, because the success I think that we had as an expansion team last year's is pretty historical. And so I think this year we just have that comfort to build on, and so it's made the beginning here a little bit easier, I think. So the vibes around camp I think are actually really good, and obviously we've lost some now to national team duty, but I think it's an exciting time for us to kind of build on what it's going to be like when they're going for World Cup. And so yeah, I would say pretty good vibes all around.
Thank you.
Abraham.
Hi, I was kind of curious around that. For the most part, the World Cup is going to be taking place during the Challenge Cup. How excited are you guys for that this season now that it's going to be during the season? And more specifically for you, Maddie, now that you're on this new team, what did you think it's going to be like, considering the difference from Portland to now, when Portland was the one that knocked you guys out at the postseason, even though you were on that team last year?
Yeah, I think Challenge Cup is a good experience for a lot of players who maybe don't get to see as much time. I know previously it had been like that for me, and I know that there probably be opportunities as well moving forward. And so I think Challenge Cup is just a good time for us to kind of like rest the regular 11 and get like game opportunity for players who don't see it as much. And so I think that stands pretty much across the board, no matter like what team you're on. Obviously we have high expectations and high goals as a team, just as everybody else. And Challenge Cup is another thing that obviously we'd want to win, keeping in mind the importance of like regular season and gunning for the shield and gunning for a good spot in playoffs. Challenge Cup just kind of helps develop all of us, I think, to be able to build towards that goal. So it's a good opportunity for the team as a whole, just to kind of see where the strength of our roster stands. And I think looking at this group, I think we have a really good chance of being successful throughout the entirety of the season.
Stephanie. Stephanie. No. Good. Morgan, do you want to go?
Yeah, I can go. Hello to you both. The team has strengthened a lot in the offseason, but arguably in the midfield more than anywhere else. How much are you guys looking forward to playing with some of the more experienced midfielders like Colaprico and Doherty, Howard? And also how much are you looking forward to playing with the raw talent that came from the draft?
Yeah, I think we're really excited. I think depth is something that we struggled with a bit last year, and having experience depth, I think, is huge, especially in this league. So I think bringing in the players we brought in, whether it was from the draft or from trades or pickups, I think were huge for us. I'm super excited to have Danny with us. I played with her in college and I've known her since I was like 16. So I'm pumped that she's here, but I've always admired Maggie, and Sierra is really impressed so far. So I think, whether they're starting or coming off the bench, I think that depth will be huge for us coming into this year.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions for Kristen or Maddie before they go? No? No? Okay. Thank you both. And we'll be back in a few minutes with Casey Stoney. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
And we're back here with Casey Stoney. She's going to say a few words about the first week of training and the upcoming season. And we'll open up for questions.
Yeah, great to be back in. Firstly, feel like it's a long off season here compared to in the UK. Too long in my opinion, but great to have the players back in. Great to have the new faces in as well. Everyone, the energy about the place has been fantastic this week. So, just building on last season now, and obviously wanting to improve.
Okay, Scott, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Hi, Casey. As you move forward to the regular season and the regular season, are there areas that you feel that need to be bolstered, like that you want to do to improve the squad?
Yeah, I think obviously we're always looking to improve. I think that's with the players that we've got, and then obviously if there's additional to add, we will do that if the opportunities arise. I'm really pleased with the business that we've done in the winter window to bring in the players that we've brought in with vast experience within this league. I think it will make us even more competitive, and also the work we did in the draft as well. Really excited by those younger players coming in. So yeah, I think it's about building on what we did last season, making sure we're still as competitive as ever. And that's the work that we put into preseason.
Are there any areas on the field that you are looking at in terms of improving?
I think it's about our consistency. Obviously, we want to score more goals. We want to keep more clean sheets. We need to make sure that more players contribute to goals. We can't rely so heavily on one goal scorer, albeit, she's a great player. We want more. We want to get more attacking players in the right areas to score goals. That's something we're looking at, is how we create those opportunities. And continuing to be a team that's hard to beat.
Wonderful. Thank you, Casey.
Thanks.
Derek.
Hey, Coach. In the middle of the season, you're going to lose several players for World Cup. How do you schedule moving up into that tournament? Are you going to restrict playing time for some of the people who might be gone? Maybe get some more players in there to get your depth a little bit more experience in the NWSL, or do you worry about that as it comes?
I think it's something you have to plan for. It's an anomaly that I'm not used to working with in the UK. I wish we would move more towards the FIFA calendar and FIFA windows. That's something I would propose and fight for, so that we don't lose such a vast amount of numbers out of our squad during World Cup windows, and they don't miss so many games. They don't want to miss the games either. Yeah, we plan for it. We're going to look at how we can take care of our squad in terms of making sure everyone's played in and played games and played minutes. So yeah, we have to plan for it. And that's why we've also gone into the window and made the signings that we've made as well, because they had much needed experience at certain times of the year.
And we talked a lot last year about how many young players you did get playing time to. I assume that with the talent you brought in the draft, as you mentioned, that's going to be something you're not going to shy away from again this year.
No, absolutely not. If you're good enough, you're old enough, and you don't know until you put them in. So yeah, I'm a keen person who I'm keen on young players coming in and the development pathway and how we give them the right opportunities at the right times. So yeah, we'll expose young players at the right times. We've also brought in experience as well. So I think we've done really well to improve our roster.
And then lastly, for me, you have a program in place now. Last year, you kind of had to throw this whole thing together and then work on, establishing a system as you were going through the season. Now that you've got a full year under the belt and there's an expectation and the players know what that is, how much better can you be earlier in the season this year?
Yeah, we have to hit the ground running. We needed the Challenge Cup last year to give us a bit of a shock to the system, to be honest. So, we need to hit the ground running. We've got some really competitive games in pre-season, which we're really looking forward to, which should start us in good stead. And yeah, we need to be consistent from the off. We don't have the Challenge Cup to be able to do that this time.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Steph Young.
Thanks. Hi, Coach. I mean, you just mentioned about, being someone who's keen on young players, development pathway. We saw the schedule this season where they're putting Challenge Cup games midweek. And so I'm just wondering, I know you've had like 5 seconds of preseason, but are you looking at that and thinking this is a good chance for me to like roster rotation, bench depth, that sort of thing?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Especially midweek and those periods where, the World Cup's on, it's about, giving you depth, playing time. And I don't know who that's going to be yet. I don't make any guarantees to any player in my squad, whether they're going to start, be a game changer or, not be on the roster. It's about them working the next 6 weeks to get themselves in a position for me to make a decision. So yeah, we're planning accordingly, and we're making sure that, we give players rest when it's right, and we give players minutes when it's right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Okay. Amor.
Hi, Casey.
Hi.
Thanks for your time. I want to ask you about a young player. It's Melanie Bárcenas.
Yeah.
She's a former under 17 player with Mexico.
Yeah.
What kind of chances she has to become a pro and also play with San Diego Wave? I don't know if she's only on tryout, or what can you say about her?
Well, with that talent, she's got every chance of playing for San Diego Wave. She's been training with us for, nearly a year in our environment as a training player. Now there's the possibility that she can get a contract, and it's a player that excites me a lot. She's still very young. We need to protect her on and off the field to make sure she's looked after, because she's only 15 years of age. But the talent's there. Actually last year she got left out of a couple of international camps, and I think it's the best thing that's happened to her, because I've seen a resilience now, and I've seen a bounce back ability, and I've seen a desire to, want to keep improving. We need to keep her feet on the ground and keep her working hard. And she's come back into preseason in fantastic shape. And I'll let you ask our players what she's like, because I certainly wouldn't want to be playing against her.
Thank you.
2 balls and a mic.
Hello, Casey. Hope you had a good holiday. I just wanted to touch on, obviously last year you established an identity with the play style for Wave, the ability to adapt and grow within the season as well. How do you make sure that that's something that is still built upon? And how do you bring the new players into that philosophy and make sure that they adapt well to what's already established here?
It's my job to coach, and my staff to coach, and my team around me to get that information into the players. We want to be adaptable. We want to be tactically flexible, but we need to make sure the system and the style suits the strengths to the players that we've got, and also the opposition that we're playing against. So, we've got 6 weeks in pre-season to continue to grow those ideas, and then we'll adapt throughout the season. We don't stop learning just because we kick a ball for the first regular game of the season. It's about continuing to grow. We're only in our 2nd ever season as a team. So yeah, we'll set our own expectations. We know the expectations on us will be higher, and they should be. And it's up to us now to meet those expectations.
Perfect. Thank you.
Stephanie.
Hear me now?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I had a mic issue last time. Hi, Coach. One of your players, Alex Morgan, is currently training with the U.S. Women's National Team in preparation for the She Believes Cup. And she'll be playing a few games in Florida. And last time you were in Florida playing against the Orlando Pride, you and a few of the Wave players made a point to wear gay shirts in protest of certain policies in Florida. And not too long ago, Alex was recently asked about her support for playing sports, and I was just wondering if you had any opinions on that and on the unfortunate efforts to curb LGBT rights in certain states in America.
I didn't catch all of that
She
question.
made a statement about having trans kids in sports.
Okay. Yeah. I've spoken about trans kids in sports to say, like, I would need a hell of a lot more education and research from the science behind it before I could give a valuable and informed answer. I think sport should be for everybody. And I don't sway away from that, but I couldn't give you an informed answer without all the science and the research. I do think, sports, like I said, it should be for all. And as for the policies in Florida, I would never work there. I would never choose to work there. I would never choose to raise my family there. There's places in the world that are moving forward, and unfortunately this country at certain times, as difficult as it is, I live here, I'm not a native, but it seems to be going backwards. But I'd ask who's making the rulings. Seems to be an awful lot of men making rulings about women. That's all I know, and I don't agree with it. I think it's a world that should be free to love who you love, and be who you authentically want to be. No one else should tell you how you can live your life and who you want to be. You're not hurting anybody. You're not doing any damage. I think we have to move away from those narrow-minded attitudes. I always say to anyone, I've got a problem, come and have dinner with my family and see how loved my kids and what environment they grow up in, and then you might change your mind.
Thank you.
Thanks. Last question before we wrap up, Abraham.
Hey, Coach, welcome back. I just was curious. I wanted to ask. Last week, Taylor Korniak said that she's been practicing more in the six, more of the defensive midfielder role. I was wondering if you kind of see that role for her with the Wave or something more similar to what happened last season.
I like to give Taylor a little bit more flexibility in her game than that. I played her more of a 10. I thought her and Alex's connection was very good, and also when she arrives in the box, she's a danger. I did play her lower at times, but with freedom. I always played her with somebody else, so she wasn't an isolated six. I don't see Taylor in that light for us. I think we'd be taking away her strengths if she played as an isolated six. If she played as a double six with the freedom to go forward, yeah, potentially. And we did that last year. But I did put her in training because I knew that she was going away with the national team and she needs to work on it. If she plays as a single six, she's going to have to be really disciplined and understand her role very clearly. And I'm sure Vlatko will give her that information and give her the best chance to be successful. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how she gets on in there. She's so coachable and she wants to do well. So I'm sure she'll go in there and be successful.
Okay. Thank you all for joining. We're going to wrap it up here. Thank you, Casey.
Thank you.
Hopefully see you all at our home opener on March 25th.